Okay, so first of all, congratulations for this inspiring collection. We could detect the new vibrating colors and the traditional blue and also these traditional patterns at the same time. Could you describe us your collection in a few words?
Yes, my brand is mainly focused about traditional handicrafts of Hungary, which is also including in general regional production. And yes, I'm always looking for traditional craftsmen because, as you know, it's sometimes hard to find because they're very old. They don't have new craftsmen, so it's dying out. And I want to combine also with the modern, urban, stylish fashion, the traditional motifs and the traditional crafts.
Yes, and what was the inspiration for this collection?
Yeah, this collection specifically, I was working together with the blue dyers of Tolna. It's a young family, but it's a more generation, of course, back to the 19th century. And I cooperated with them, so I used the traditional print stocks, and I also used the indigo dye, which is a natural dye. And I experimented with the fabrics. I used silks and different natural fabrics that are not usual in the traditional printing of indigo blue dye. And I also made own prints because they make it of wood. You have stamps, but there are not existing anymore people who carve the stamps. So I combined the modern technology of CNC and made prints of a digital technique. So it's like a combination of old, handmade, and modern technology.
Yes, and what does sustainability mean to you?
Sustainability, you know, in eco or sustainable ethical fashion, we have now a lot of range, yes, and every designer has to decide on what he is concentrating because it's almost impossible to fulfill every part, yes. It's usually to try to have like a 60-70% of the things that you can realize that are sustainable. So you can focus on ecological textiles or of course you will always have, if you're an ethical designer, you also will be ethically producing. So you cannot make a ecological fabric clothing and then produce it in China for 3 cents, and so it's usually always also the human side, the responsibility, the social responsibility, and I myself I focus on the traditional crafts that I want to keep in the region alive, and I try to modernize them or give them a modern twist, so that the people who maybe think that folklore is like old-fashioned and not very fashionable, I try to make it a little bit modern and more fashionable for them too, so they can look at it with a new eye.
Is it your first collection as a sustainable kind of collection?
Well, I would not say that I have a starting point of since when I decided to be sustainable. I think it was always there in our minds, and I think today if you study fashion design since a few years, every school also teaches sustainable fashion. It is the future, and especially as small designers with small brands, it is our own chance because we also cannot compete with the big brands that produce thousands of pieces. Also in the price, we cannot have that limit. So we have to find this uniqueness and sell the uniqueness and usually a quality that can be found like in things like a traditional craft or that it's ecologic or things like that. So it's not my first collection. I showed this collection also in Berlin Fashion Week. And I had other shows. It was maybe the 4th collection so far, and it becomes with every year more and more variable, I would say.
Okay, and how is the reflection on your collection? Is it easy to sell sustainable clothes? If I can ask you this question.
Yes. Well, it's not easy in general to sell clothes as a small designer, to produce and everything. I think you have to be really resilient with time. You have to be patient. It will not come from one year to another. If you believe in your product, you have to be patient. It will take some years and you will have small steps. But I believe if the people see that you have a very unique point of view and that you really make something special, in the end the time will show it that it has a real quality and that is also sustainable.
Okay, thank you very much and good luck for the future.